Cody talked to you guys about IBs and all the data that you're going to get, right? So you got all this data, and what are you going to do with it? We've heard terms of end of life, life cycle status, preventative maintenance, you name it. All these terms. It's like, what do I do with this data now? So as a part of that piece, you got to have critical spares, right? You want to mitigate the risk of downtime. You want to have these access to these spares just in case, you know, your machine does go down. What are you going to do in the event of that? You want to make sure you have all of those bases covered. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. As part of this initiative, our goal here is to reduce costs and improve your maintenance decisions. And one ways of doing that is by decreasing costs. And that's this first bullet here. So if you're looking to simplify your budgeting for inventory or repairs, you want to maybe repair your components or assets versus buying new. You want to reduce the quantity of the repairs and extend your equipment life, or minimize total cost of inventory ownership. All that falls under that whole decreased cost umbrella. And then we're going to go into the optimizing inventory, which is match your spares to match your production needs. You got flexible options to update your inventory as your install base changes, and support for your legacy and non-Rockwell products. And then we got minimize downtime. So with this bullet, if you're just trying to improve mean time to repair and then mean time between failures, or if you want to have critical parts available on site, if you got some parts that you're having constantly repaired due to one reason or the other, Rockwell will come in and take a look at those repairs and kind of help you figure out what's going on. Why does that part keep failing, for example? So all of these really fall under the asset optimization services. You have the goal of reducing the cost and inventory and improve your maintenance decisions. Specifically, we have a program that's called the Inventory Plus Service Agreement, formerly known as PMA. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the PMA model, but that was a parts management agreement. You know, Rockwell loves their acronyms. So parts management agreement evolved to what is now Inventory Plus Service Agreement. So it's essentially the same, but I'm going to go into some of the specifics of what changed. So the Inventory Plus Service Agreement, it provides Rockwell assets at your location. Now there are some caveats there, but specifically most of the customers have these assets at their facility, whether it's, you know, they have a designated area in their storeroom that has these Rockwell assets, and these provide you the ability to have access to these parts. And we'll go into kind of all the specifics of it, but if you want to have these Rockwell assets at your disposal, this is an agreement that's going to be for you. So see, these are Rockwell owned and managed, and they manage the spare parts inventory. You're going to give us a list of your critical spares, for example, and we're going to come back to you and say, okay, well, Rockwell's going to allow you to have these parts on site at your disposal, so when you need them, for when you have a machine that goes down or what have you. And the good thing about this agreement is it's flexible. So that's one of the PMA. That's one thing we got good feedback from customers at how flexible it is. So you can add and delete and make changes as you need with this agreement here. It can be, I've seen as little as 10 items all the way to, I don't know, 200 items. So you can take out assets as you need. For example, if you have a line that you decommission and you don't have, let's say, PowerFlex 4s anymore, for example, you don't need them. So you can we can take them out of your inventory, out of your PM or Inventory Plus stock, or you can buy them out, essentially, and then keep them for your own stores. Part of the benefit of this program is, again, it's access to the Rockwell owned inventory, but you only pay for those assets that you put into production. So these assets, let's say you got 10 items, for example, and you need that, a machine goes down and you need that controller. You're going to go into your inventory plus stock and pull that asset out, and then you're going to put it into production. And then it becomes your part. So then you own it. So then starts the whole replenishment process, which we'll go through. But that's kind of how, in a nutshell, how that works. But the good thing about the Inventory Plus service agreement is now we have a priority replenishment stock, which is stored at Rockwell Automation hubs. I believe it's in the closest one's in Indiana. And so it offers that faster turnaround time. Before, you would go, if you had to put an asset into production, you have to replenish that stock, your parts management stock. So it would go through the replenishment process. And as a part of that, sometimes the lead times might be lengthy to get that part back into the PMA or into the stock. Now they offer the priority replenishment, which actually takes that asset and they store it at Rockwell's hub location for you. So if you need it, we're gonna, we'll give Rockwell a call and say, hey, we need to replenish whatever asset it is, and they'll go ahead and start the process of sending it to you. So it's definitely a faster turnaround time. So it's always definitely a benefit there. And you get a one year in-service warranty on all stock. So the clock on your warranty does not start until you take that asset out of the Inventory Plus bill of materials and then put it into production. While before you have assets sitting on your shelf collecting dust, and that warranty clock is just ticking as they sit there. This, you get the in-service warranty, which is definitely an added bonus. So again, when I started, I talked about really the goals of asset optimization. So decrease costs, optimize inventory, and you're minimizing your downtime. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie those back to your Inventory Plus. So decreasing cost, basically you're deferring and minimizing your total cost of inventory, so your carrying cost, by only purchasing what you need as you need it. And this also gives you the access of simplified and predictable budgeting with the fixed fees, and then you get additional savings and incentives when you send inoperative units in for manufacturing and repair. That's part of the replenishment process, which again we'll go over. So as part of optimizing inventory, you're going to have only your critical spares on site. You can update the bill of materials like we talked about before, and you get the 1 year in-service warranty, and then minimizing downtime. So again, what ties it back into having the parts you need when you need them. And then the priority replenishment stock, which is held at the hub location for a quite faster turnaround time. Along with that, not only do you have the in-service warranty, but you still have the standard warranty as well on a traditional warranty on the part. So whether it's like two years, I believe, 24 months. So you still have that, but you still can, when the part is put in the stock, you have that additional 1 year that kind of is on top of that, so it kind of compounds. So as part of this, the Inventory Plus agreement, 3 really core pieces to it. There's the on-site stock. So the on-site stock is, like I was saying before, it's going to be that bill of materials, those parts that you want stored at your location, ready for you when you need them. So this will be in your storeroom. It has to be stored away from your stores. So that's one of the stipulations. So it's basically, it's your bill of materials stored at on-site for ready access. There is a fixed fee for this access. Basically what they do is a percentage of list price. So Rockwell takes that bill of materials and they look at quantities and they look at what parts it is and they put it into this formula, and they come up with a fee for this access. So, and then the billing is a lot of times is quarterly, monthly, or yearly. So there's flexibility there. But again, the on-site stock is backed up by the priority replenishment stock for faster turnaround. And this also utilizes the Repair Plus budgeting, which I'll go into in just a second. And we talked about how flexible the inventory is here. The other piece of this is the priority replenishment stock, like I mentioned before. This is stored at the Rockwell hub locations and is used to replenish what you take out of the on-site stock and put into production. So again, this is just talking about the fixed fee for access. As parts are used from the on-site stock, Rockwell will replenish those parts from the already replenishment stock. So this one I really want to kind of hone in on a little bit. Gives you a little idea of the cost savings with an inventory plus. So typically, your traditional model, your traditional capital investment, say we have a 4-year time period. The length of the contract is say 4 years. Traditionally, you're going to buy, you need let's say a controller, for example. That controller is $10,000, right? You got to have that controller in your storeroom in case the machine fails. So you've already purchased that controller for $10,000. A couple years later, the machine goes down. Oh no, I got to take this controller out of my spares and put it on the machine to keep that machine running. So now you have that spare into production. So I got to buy another spare. That's, you know, and it could be years later, but you got to buy that spare to back up to have that critical spare back in your stores from. So right now you're at say a $20,000 investment, for example. So there's $20,000 investment right there, and that's what these when they're saying I just buy spares or I just buy parts. That's what they do. So with the inventory plus service agreement, let's take the same time period. Say it's like a 4-year time period. That machine does not fail until, again, say almost year 4 almost. So you don't need that part until almost year 4. So you're still paying your fixed monthly fee or quarterly fee for the PMA, but when that part does fail, you need that critical spare. So when that happens, you take the part out of the PMA or the inventory plus stock and you put it into production. You got to replenish that part. So you let us know and we'll pull from your priority replenishment stock and get it back to you, so you'll have it back in your inventory plus stock. So that replenishment, let's say it runs for the exchange is $5,000. So if you add up, say, that replenishment and then your fixed monthly fees, it may run you anywhere from $9,000 to $12,000, depending on the length of the contract. So, and that's just an example. It could be more, it could be less. Depends on bill of materials and a lot of other things as far as that fixed fee. But the point being that you're coming out really, this is such a better option because you're only, aside from the fixed monthly fee, you're paying, say, $5,000 for a replenishment. And the length of contracts, you know, they're anywhere from 1 to 5 years. Some customers have them for a year. A lot of our inventory plus customers, they do the multi-year agreements because it's definitely a better deal. What they do is, the hard and fast rule is, number one, you got to have the inventory in service for it, and you can't make any changes for 6 months initially. So the first 6 months, it's got to stay as is. After that 6 months, we can start adjusting. And what happens is that fixed fee, because a lot of times these customers, they'll pay monthly on this program. So that adjusts based upon say if you remove some parts, obviously your fee is going to go down. You can buy them out. So like if it's third party, it's a non-Rockwell item, you know, like something like that, you'd have to buy it out. But if it's a Rockwell item and you don't need it, just say, hey, we don't need it and we don't want to buy it. But Rockwell does allow a lot of flexibility in that regard, and the whole adjusting the bill of materials. So they do allow a lot of flexibility there. But again, hard and fast, I always tell customers, you got to at least have your initial bill of materials in place for, say, 6 months. Because, you know, get it, say, a month later, they'll be like, already changing the bill of materials, you know, they got to take some time to kind of get established, so on and so forth. So that's why these agreements, a lot of times they go with like a 3 or 5, because of the flexibility, really. And, you know, 1 year, you got to have it in place 6 months before you can make changes, so you're not really getting the whole benefit, right? So I want to hone in on the replenishment process just a little bit real quick. So again, I want to make sure we're all understanding. You have a fixed bill of materials on site, ready for you to use. It's Rockwell owned. Whenever you have a machine go down or you need that part for whatever reason. So machine goes down in the middle of the night. you go get that part out of the inventory plus stock. You put it into production. You notify us at ES&E. Hey, we used a part out of our inventory plus stock, right? So our job is to help you guys replenish that stock. So we're going to get in touch with Rockwell. We're going to say, hey, they used whatever asset it is, and we need to replenish that stock. So then you let us know how fast you want it. So you already have one priority replenishment up in the hub in Indiana. So a lot of times in that case, you're going to do like an exchange. We'd like to say get a 48-hour turnaround time to have that asset back on site so that it's ready for you. And then a lot of times, if it's, say, not a super critical part, for example, let's say a drive, for example, a 753 drive. If it's not super critical, what will happen, it'll just be an economy repair or replenishment, and then the turnaround time is, what is economy now? So it takes a little bit longer to get here, and that's if you're obviously okay with it. So it does go through the remanufacturing process, and you get that asset right back. And then we'll go into the Repair Plus service agreement, which kind of goes hand in hand with the Inventory Plus, because as part of the core benefits of the Inventory Plus, you have the on-site stock, you have the priority replenishment, and you have a Repair Plus benefit, which is all incorporated together as part of one agreement. So the Repair Plus service agreement is one contract, which is simplified for repair budgeting and streamlines your repair order process with a Rockwell Automation. It's just a single contract for all repair services. It is renewable, just like the Inventory Plus. So you can do a single year or multi-year option. And it helps with if you're trying to do the predictable fixed monthly billing. So whether it be monthly, quarterly, or yearly, this helps there. So, and also the good thing about the Repair Plus service agreement is you have the buying incentives, which it gives you a 20% add-on or 20% buying increase. So, a lot of customers, say they put $5,000 into this Repair Plus contract, they're going to get an additional 20% bump on top of that, additional buying power. And then it uses our remanufacturing services. So the repair service capability. So remanufacturing, just like Cody and I was talking, you take your unit and we're going to remanufacture it to like, new, or better condition. And then we have the priority exchange, which is where it's that 48-hour turnaround time. So if we have a unit in the hub, then we can have you a replacement unit within 48 hours. That's how that priority exchange works. And then if you're looking for a single source for non-Rockwell Automation repairs, we can help you with that as well. So there's two options with the Repair Plus service agreement. So we have the Repair Plus spend, which is basically you determine how much you want to put into this repair agreement. Anything from, like I said, a minimum is $5,000, but I've seen all the way up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you determine what you want to put in that repair agreement, and it covers non-Rockwell and Rockwell, so third party and Rockwell items. And this is basically just saying that it's looking for a simplified repair process and predictable repair spend that is within their budget. Then there's a Repair Plus inclusive, and this is a little bit different in that this agreement covers Rockwell Automation only items, and an install base has to be completed to determine that budget. So with this agreement, you'll get the install base bundled together. So basically, we're going to do a Repair Plus service agreement. Cody or whoever the technician is going to come out and do the install base, and then based upon that, Rockwell is going to say, okay, well, based upon all those assets, a repair budget of, I don't know, say $500,000, for example, is going to be included in this contract. And that's how the budget, repair spend budget, is determined. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the RAMP program. I know a gentleman was talking about the on-site asset management professional, that is the ramp guy. So this person will come out and basically take care of your storeroom for you. Your own dedicated person. The whole warranty tracking. They do barcodes, so that way they're able to track all the assets and how long, for example, they've been sitting in the storeroom, or if they're put into service. That's how they're able to track everything. So they utilize this live tracking with the barcode technology. Like I said here, all the items are tracked to help ensure you're not paying for repairs or failed components under warranty. And so again, this person will come out on site and he'll manage your assets for you. He'll do the warranty tracking. He does the analytics, the reporting software, which helps you to see what repairs are in the system, or what items you've had repaired, say over the past year. And helps you kind of get an idea of what's kind of going through your system in terms of repairs. Then we have the channel asset management professional. So this is an ES&E person who will basically come out on site and help you with your repairs. And this is usually what are we at now? So once a week. It really depends on the volume of what you have. And they'll help you with the warranty tracking and help you with the repairs. And also you get the in-service warranty for all products repaired after the start date. And now the in-service warranty so it used to be 1, but that recently changes, so you do get a 2-year in-service warranty for all your repairs. And then again, also the champ person comes out and they track the assets, so you'll have an idea what's out, what's at the hub, what's been repaired, kind of where your spend is. They'll help you with all of that, all the analytics there. And it utilizes the repair tag process, which is similar to the barcode technology. It's just a little bit different. And then we talk about generating reports on a bi-monthly or quarterly basis, and that helps to show you, where your spend is, what assets have been in the system, kind of show you some of the cost savings associated with. And again, this just talks more about the ramp, which is just a long-term partnership with a Rockwell Automation embedded person on site. And these are just some of the benefits that they provide: storeroom management, repair management, and life cycle management. And this is just, I wanted to show you kind of some sample reporting of what you will get with like the champ personnel. This shows you like repair summary, and it's just showing you how many repairs you've had, how much you're spending, the quantity. Just wanted to show you guys. So overview of your repair activity over a specific range of time. And then there's your cost savings report. That's just another report you can get. We have a software that helps generate all of this. I want to let you know of another little asset program that we have. It's one that not a lot of customers know about, but it's very beneficial. Does your storeroom look like this? Now, I'm pretty sure you two, your storeroom does not look like this at all. But I have seen some that look like that. And it's funny because you'll go in some of these storerooms and you'll be talking to the customer and they're like, come here, check out this. I got this drawer here. And there's some controllers, I/O cards, whatever. And they're like, that's the stash. So with the stash, I was like, well, that's great, man, but do you really know the condition of those parts? They've been in a drawer for years, who knows, right? So all that to say, suspect inventory, that's a big thing that we run into when we assess these storerooms, whether it be an IBE or Philip going to look at a storeroom or what have you. Suspect inventory. So we're talking about extended shelf time, unknown length of time. The part's been sitting there forever. It's got a thick coat of dust on it. We don't know how long the thing's been there. So we see it all the time. Potential environmental exposure, whether it's been in a humid area, temperature issues, what have you. So broken seals, that's probably a huge one. We see it all the time. We'll go assess the spare parts, and that seal on the box is broken. Somebody could have just took it out and looked at it and said, oh, okay, well, I think this is what I need. Just put it back in there. Or they took it out for whatever other reason. Or we see it sometimes and you can tell it's been used, it's been installed, but they didn't need it, put it back in the storeroom, you know, what have you. So we see those kind of issues all the time. So suspect inventory is huge, right? So, and then also like repair work was done by unauthorized companies. So Bob's shop down the road said they fixed a drive. It runs great, all right. So Rockwell has a service that provides customers with the ability to test and verify to make sure that that inventory that is suspect is still operational and still is in great working condition. It's called the Inventory Recertification Program. The unit's sent to Rockwell. It has to pass the testing, and if it does, it's recertified. And the good thing about it is it's returned back to you, and it has that 1-year in-service warranty associated with it. So that's definitely a added bonus. And also you get the unit back with a remanufactured specifications. It's recertified and it has the warranty, and not only that, it's just some of the benefits. And like I said, our non-operational spares are remanufactured to like new condition, complete with firmware upgrades or updates, excuse me. So, and the one thing I like to kind of promote about this program for me is that, you know, it always becomes a pricing question. How much does this cost? Well, the good thing about this program is it's a flat fee. So drives are the one exception to the rule. They're recertified based upon the horsepower rating. So, you know, 30 horsepower is not going to be recertified at the same rate as 100 horsepower, for example. So, and also when it comes to HMIs, controllers, any other repairable item, now those are under one fee. That's how much it costs. You send it up to Rockwell, or we'll send it up to Rockwell for you, and then it's recertified, checked and recertified. If it does pass recertification, it's returned back to you with that warranty. If it's not, then there's a couple of options. Well, for one, you can let us know, hey, this thing we don't need it. We just wanted to see if it worked. Go ahead and scrap it. Just don't even worry about it. Or you can remanufacture it. So if it fails testing, it can be remanufactured just like any other repairable asset, and then returned to you. The one caveat being is if we do send it up for recertification, it will not come back to you repaired or uncertified, meaning you're not going to get it back in the condition that it went back up there in. So they're not going to send it back to you inoperable. That's the one caveat that I like to make sure I make everybody aware of when I talk about this program. So if it goes up to Rockwell, it's going to either be recertified or repaired, one of the two, or trashed, scrap. But you got to let us know. A few stipulations there, but again, if you do have, you know, that suspect inventory, then it's really a good program. I couldn't tell you how many times as a inventory guy I've went in these storerooms and you find those open boxes all over the place. Or sometimes they'll say used. And I'm like, okay, well, do they work? We don't know. So again, it's just something to think about. The fees are really, I think they're really good. Rockwell's real competitive in that world. It's not a lot, but it's just something that, you know, to think about.